All right, welcome in everybody to Show Pony Live. We are live here on YouTube and Twitter and all those good places you can find us. When the show's over, it's on Apple Podcast and Spotify. Everywhere you get podcasts, check out Show Pony Live. If you miss any of the show, if you want to go back and listen, subscribe, and like, and all that good stuff, encourage you to do all of that. All right, good to have you today. Matt Barrie is going to be on the program today, and I'm so excited about it. Matt Barrie, ESPN, absolutely love Matt. A staple in college football and in golf, the Masters and TGL. I mean, this guy is everywhere. Sports Center, in fact, he's going to come to us today from the Sports Center set right before he's ready to get on the air, and we'll talk about his career. And I really hope these conversations are useful. If you're a young broadcaster, please watch these. If you know a young broadcaster, please share these when we talk to other broadcasters that are accomplished in sports. Yesterday, we had the voice of the Las Vegas Raiders on, Jason Horowitz. He talked about how he had to grind and build relationships and be kind to people to get where he's at. Matt Barrie on ESPN, who you see on TV all the time on big national TV, that guy started at a small market in Wisconsin. So it's a grind to become one of the best. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the journey. We'll get into all that with Matt Barrie coming up in just a little bit on the program. I did want to hit on some of the big headlines of the day. TJ Otzelberger gets a 10-year contract extension at Iowa State. He gets a fat pay raise. And I just want to remind everybody, this is how it happens. If you've ever wondered, why is the money insane? Why are schools hemorrhaging money? Why are they begging boosters? Why are they going to Joe and Johnny Fan and saying, please give me more money, please give me more money, please give me more money? This is how it happens right here. Take a look. Our guy, TJ Otzelberger, has signed a contract extension through 2036. 10 years, guys. Now, I know he's been to the Sweet 16 3 times in the last 4 years. That's wonderful. By the way, most of the news today, basketball headlines, kind of wild. We're sitting here post-NCAA tournament now for a couple weeks, and basketball is still dominating the headlines, especially the news that we could be expanding the NCAA tournament really soon. But TJ Otzelberger gets a 10-year extension. This is because the athletic director at Iowa State saw what's going on with his football program. They lost Matt Campbell to Penn State. He's gone. His women's basketball program, Audie Crooks, she got bought away. She transferred to Oklahoma State, number one player in the country. So to make it look like they have some sort of semblance of positivity, like they're not just getting poached, like they're not just like a feeder team for the rest of college sports, they've given Otzelberger everything he wanted. A 10-year extension and a fat-ass amount of money. Now he's gone to 3 Sweet 16s, but here's the thing. What if they stink moving forward? This is how it happens. What if Iowa State over the next 3 years doesn't go to the Sweet 16? What if they get beat in the first round? What if he becomes John Calipari at Kentucky? And then all of a sudden, Mitch Barnhart had to panic, which put him in a mess right now. But what if that's the case? That could be the case. They gave him $10 million. They gave TJ Otzelberger 10 years. And like $6 million to coach their basketball program because they're desperate. They're desperate to prove to their fans that they're not at the bottom of the heap. They're desperate to prove to their fans they got some financial wherewithal. But this is how this stuff happens, because all of a sudden, if they start losing, they're locked in. Now they're going to have a buyout that's enormous. Now they're going to have to go find a sugar daddy to go pay it. And the sugar daddy's not going to want to pay it, because the sugar daddy's paid for the players. He's paid for everything else. It's non-sustainable. But this is how, if you wondered, why are coaches making so much money? Why does this happen? Because this guy could get a job somewhere else. And everybody is so desperate to win. Everybody's so desperate to keep their economics the way they are and to improve them. Even if it's, guys can win a couple of years and then just fall apart. We see it all the time. Consistency is hard in college sports. Yet they're giving Otzelberger a king's ransom. Tons of money. How about this news today? This was a matter of time. Pete Thamel reporting Duke is entering a unique multi-year partnership with Amazon that includes broadcasting 3 marquee men's college basketball games next season. Also, key here, this marks Amazon's first foray into live collegiate programming. This was a matter of time. Of course, this was going to happen. This is why I think the Pac-12 was stupid. Not that it didn't benefit Washington and Oregon and UCLA and USC to go to the Big Ten. They're making great money. They're in the best league in the country right now. It's a dominant league, and they've certainly added value. But the Pac-12 did not have to die. Apple TV gave them a good deal that would have been allowed to grow. But they didn't see the forest through the trees, so they killed the greatest conference in Western history. The Conference of Champions just killed it. Took a butcher knife to it and slayed it. Die, Pac-12. Die. Because that's what happened. I know it's still back. They got a little logo. Oregon State and Washington State and all the Mountain West schools. Oh, how cool. We're the Pac-12. You're not. The Pac-12 is USC and Oregon and UCLA and Washington and all those other schools. Arizona State, Arizona. It ain't this. But good for Duke, and this is where we're going. Streaming is king. I hate it. I miss the days where everything was on cable. I could find anything I wanted to by clicking on my television. Easy peasy. Put on my cable box, and away I went. Paid a lot for it to get the premiums and all that, but nowadays, my gosh, there's Prime and Peacock and Netflix and Disney Plus and Hulu and all this crap. And it's impossible to find games. My God, you're flipping around. Where do I get this? Is it on Peacock? Is it on TV? But this is where we're at. This is the inventory. Live sports are king. It's how you kill people with ads. It's how you bombard them. It's how you get their attention. Live, real time, live sports. Everybody knows this. Guess who knows it now as well? Duke. And Amazon and John Shire. And now they are in business together. Pretty damn big deal, I would say. And for this is Netflix. We see Netflix's Major League Baseball opening day. If you don't think we're going to get more and more of this and regular television is dying, you're insane. This is just where we're at. All right, how about John Wall? This is pretty cool. John Wall heading to be the ops guy at Howard University, which is a traditional HBCU school that's in Washington, D.C. John Wall is big time in the community there in D.C. Guy was a Washington Wizard. He was a top draft pick. And it's a tough job for John Wall, but he brings accolade. He brings a name. For John Wall, his biggest thing is going to be fundraising. Howard just won their first NCAA tournament game as a 16 seed in the Dayton play-in. They just had their first ever win. Big deal for them. Huge deal, in fact. But now, for them, for John Wall, they want to keep it going. And John Wall brings his own money to the table, too. That's a huge deal. That is a massive, massive deal that John Wall brings that kind of cachet, that he brings those accolades, that he brings that kind of notoriety, and he brings a checkbook. It's tough to keep great players there, but certainly John, because of the NIL and other schools just have more money. But I'm telling you right now, for John Wall, God bless him. He's going to be an asset. He's going to help attract some money to the thing. Hey, before we get to Matt Barrie of ESPN, a reminder, Show Pony University. We're starting on Wednesday, May 6th. See that QR code in the right corner? Just do the shot of that, screenshot that, scan that. You can sign up. It's a 4-week class. It's less than $100 a week. And we're going to teach you how to do this, how to host a podcast, how to do sports radio, how to be in the media. We're going to teach you how to organize a show, how to put together a topic tree, how to interview people. Watch my interview with Matt Barrie. If you like what you see, I can teach you how to do it. But sign up right now on the QR code right up there. Just go ahead and scan it, and that'll get you to showponymedia.com. Super duper easy to do exactly that. All right, my friends. Let's get to my buddy, Let's get to the guy, Matt Barrie. We're going to talk to him in just a little bit. Before we do that, though, we got a special public address announcement.
Why?
Why take a chance? Why risk a mistake? Why say something? We all have reasons why we choose to ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right. The word why can either paralyze us or empower us to stand up and protect what we love.
So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
I see say for their future.
I see say for my entire school.
I see say because if I don't, who will?
I see say because all this matters.
We all have something worth protecting, a why that unifies this community we are all a part of. So protect your everyday. Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
All right, we're here on Show Pony Live. Look at this handsome son of a gun I can see right now on the camera. Matt Barrie. He is an anchor for all kinds of stuff. SEC Nation now, which is very exciting. Sports Center, you can see him. He's about ready to do a show, which is pretty damn exciting. TGL and the Masters in golf. You have risen up the ladder, and I'm excited to learn about your story. Matt Barrie, how are you, sir?
Chowders, what a blessing this is. Normally, when I'm on your show with you and Coach, if Dusty and Danny let me come on, we're talking via telephone. The fact that I can see you and have a human conversation with you and be able to look at you is fantastic.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad because I don't look like you. I mean, it's way better on my end, believe me. I mean, I'm looking at an Adonis right now with the hair and the makeup, and you're looking at a gargoyle, quite frankly. So I apologize that you have to see me and have a human conversation, but we'll persevere anyway.
We're going to get through it.
Yes, we'll persevere. It's great to have you. It really is. And when I started my podcast, yeah, it's about college sports and all that, but I want to get to know people in the sports media business and find out your story and your path and your journey. Yesterday, I was talking to the voice of the Raiders who started, doing, $20,000 a year jobs, just trying to find a way in the business. I know you have a similar path. Now, Matt, you graduated from Arizona State, right? You're a Cronkite Media School guy.
Yeah.
And then did you find your path early in local news? How did you start in media?
Yeah, so that's how I started. I went the path of small market TV. I was in the Wausau Rhinelander TV market in Wisconsin.
Wow.
I think it was like market 136. So you can imagine how.
You're not from Wisconsin, right?
I was born and raised in Scottsdale, Arizona.
So you had no appreciation for Wisconsin culture at all.
Nothing. You can imagine how well that went. A desert kid. There we go. Let there be light. See, I even had studio lights turned on.
You are hooking me up today, dude.
So you can imagine how well it went. A guy like me coming out of Arizona State and Scottsdale, living in the north woods of Wisconsin. But you had to get in. I lied to my parents about the salary. It was $16,000 a year. Because if I told them what I was making after they just got done paying for 4 years of college, they would have been like, what did we do that for? So I lied to them about the salary, and I go and I take this job at this NBC affiliate in small market Wisconsin. It was good because, first of all, it was a hybrid job. It was 2 days news, 3 days sports, because it was just small market TV, and that's just how things went. It was good though, because I would drive down to Madison on Saturdays. It was like a 3-hour drive.
Yeah.
For those 11 a.m. games at Camp Randall Stadium.
Oh yeah.
And then I'd get to drive to Green Bay on Sundays when Brett Favre and those guys were in their peak for the Packers. This was in 2001.
Wow.
So it was a great intro into the business. I didn't like it. I hated it. It snowed on Cinco de Mayo. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm poor. I'm away from home. What am I doing? So I actually quit. I quit TV.
Really?
After that job, because it just chased me out. And I went and bartended in Newport Beach, California. Kind of did like an extended.
So you went from Wausau or whatever to Newport Beach. Okay, nice upgrade.
Went and lived with a buddy of mine and his fiance at their house. bartended on the beach. And then at some point I was just like, I got to get back in. Like I got to get back into my career. And I started over in Lawton, Oklahoma, which is about an hour and 15 minutes from Norman, Oklahoma.
Wow.
And that's when Jason White won the Heisman, and they went to back-to-back national championships. So it was a journey, man. It was something, but I wouldn't trade it for anything.
So how the hell did you get to ESPN? I mean, if you're bouncing around small markets, there must have been somebody you knew, something happened, there was a moment, there was an interaction. What, like, I have told many people how I got my start in the business, and I was prepared and I was lucky. What was the breakthrough moment for you?
Yeah. So, I did the Wisconsin job. I did Lawton, Oklahoma. Then my next gig, I was in Columbia, South Carolina for a little over 3 years. I was there when Steve Spurrier was the head coach at South Carolina. And from there, my big break was I got a job in Dallas at the NBC station in Dallas, which is Market 5.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so that was my big market break. And I traveled with the Cowboys. I was there when the Rangers went to back-to-back World Series. I was there when the Mavs won the championship. And I was 29 years old when I got that gig, because at that time I had a buddy that I worked with in a smaller market that worked at that station and hand delivered my reel to the news director. And so while I was in Dallas, it was 2011, I think, 2011 or 2012. There was this new network launching at ESPN called the Longhorn Network.
Oh, you're a Longhorn Network guy.
Well, they wanted to audition people in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
That had Texas ties. And so I came up here to Bristol and I auditioned, and the audition went great. But then the tenor of the audition changed, and I started meeting. I was, meeting with Longhorn Network executives, but then I started meeting with Bristol-based Sports Center executive, ESPN executives that weren't launching the Longhorn Network. And I was like, that's interesting. And we didn't hear back for a couple of weeks. And so I just didn't think I got the job. Anyway, 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks later, they called my agent at the time and said, hey, Matt, didn't get the Longhorn Network job. We'd actually like to offer him a job here in Bristol. And
nice.
So we got the offer in Bristol, and I was still under contract at my station in Dallas. At the time, Comcast had just purchased NBC Universal.
Mm-hmm.
We were an owned and operated station by the network.
Okay.
So the owned and operated stations by the networks are New York, LA, Philly, Chicago, Dallas, San Francisco, and DC. And so I was still under contract, but I wasn't a weekday guy in Dallas. I was the weekend guy. I hosted Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then reported the other days of the week. And so I didn't think there was going to be any issue of getting out of my contract in local TV to come work at ESPN. So
sure.
We did a deal here at ESPN. We're on our way. I go to tell my bosses at my station in Dallas. They said, you're not going. Like, you're on a contract here. And we're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going. You're in a contract. We were just bought out. ESPN's a competitor now because Comcast Sports, that whole conglomerate. So I wasn't allowed to come.
Really?
We go back to ESPN. They're absolutely furious with us because
now you resent your employer.
Right. And we auditioned with ESPN in good faith that I could get out of my contract because, again, you're in local news. You're not thinking it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
So at that point, I think that I have permanently pissed off ESPN. So I couldn't go. So I was told I had to stay in Dallas and for 2 years because my deal had a little over 2 years on it. So I had to make the most of that anyway. I thought that my ESPN dreams were done. And then in the fall of 2012, they had a head count open up to where they had a spot, and they called us back. They said, listen, man, it's now or never. Like, we've got a spot.
Really?
And so I had burned another year of my contract or so in Dallas. And then this time we kind of just went to them and said, we're like I'm going, like I'm not, there's 9 months left of my deal. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
So I went through that Cowboys season. I honored the Cowboys season and then ended up coming here at the end of February 2013.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Matt Barrie. It's always a journey, man. A lot of young broadcasters do not realize they watch you on TV and they think they want to be you right away. And they're going to hop on and they're going to get out of college and they're going to get hired and they're going to get this magical break. And, you know, for me, it kind of happened that way, honestly. Like I got the magical break out of college and then I kind of rode it the entire way. But now I've been doing the same job the entire time. Is that good or bad? I don't know. But you're more traditional in your path. And I think, you know, I bring this up all the time. People are going to, you know, get so, you know, hate me for it. But I'm on the board of visitors now for the College of Communications at Alabama.
Yeah.
And it's amazing when you kind of get around young broadcasters, and Alabama's got some great ones that are gritty and hungry and all that. But there's a lot of other people out there that just don't understand, like, you don't have that instant success. Do you ever have people ask you, or should young broadcasters at least, you know, try to have a conversation with somebody like you to actually understand the reality of getting into the business?
Well, yes, because I mean, I speak to, you know, colleges quite a bit. If I'm out on the road, or we'll speak to journalism schools, because I like giving them the hard truths of it.
Yeah.
A lot of times maybe they don't get that. Remember, we live in a world, in a society now where everyone thinks, you know, they've got this.
I know.
You can become a star overnight.
I know.
Hey, you know, and everyone thinks that's the path to stardom. Okay, well, it might be in a microwave, but that's what your career is going to be. It's going to be microwaved. It's going to be hot quick and cold quick.
Yeah.
Whereas I've tried to carve the path like in an oven and slow cook all the way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes the younger people that want to come into this industry don't understand that it takes time. And this is from someone, I'm a very impatient person. Like
me too.
I must have tried to quit local TV 20 times because I wasn't getting that next step enough. And then every time I wanted to quit, a door opened. And it just kind of worked itself out. But yeah, it's not easy. And even when you get here to ESPN, it's not easy. I mean, you start at the bottom here at ESPN. Like I tell people, you basically start back in local TV at ESPN. Back when I started now, it's different now. But when I started, you're trying to get that good real estate and get those good sports centers and get those good shows. And you start at the bottom and you got to work your way all the way back up again. And so, you know, I hope that there are still some old schoolers out there that know local TV is probably a good path to go, rather than just trying to jump right to this kind of level.
What is Matt Barrie? A pleasure to have him on the show today on Show Pony Live as we talk about his career and his path to the stardom at ESPN and SEC Nation and all the things that he's going to be doing now.
I don't know what you're talking about, the SEC Nation. Those are unfounded, unconfirmed reports. So
that's unfounded and unconfirmed. I thought that was already a thing.
No, that was just, you know, some scoop reporting.
Gotcha. Okay, crap. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. Well, allegedly the new host of SEC Nation.
See how it goes.
Allegedly the new host. But he has a lot of other things that we know he does do, like the Masters and college football.
I'll be heavily involved in college football.
Yes, you'll be heavily involved in college football. So what was your pathway like to college football? Because now I feel like you are a mainstay in this world.
So 2014, I was asked to do, was it 2013 or 2014? It was actually may have been fall of 2013 that I was asked to do, you know, when you come to ESPN, you meet as many people right away as you can to know who does what, right? And then so you can let people know what your interests are. And my interest has always been college football and golf. And I was on the college football, and this was when podcasts were primitive, okay? This was in 2013, and Ivan Maisel had a college football podcast that he used to do with Beano Cook.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you know, my apologies to the listeners. I'm the guy that comes on after the late great Beano Cook, and Ivan's such a genius of the sport. So I go on this podcast, and my first introduction to college football at ESPN is the College Football Podcast with Ivan.
Mm-hmm.
So I do this podcast once or twice a week. Well, the producer of that podcast, Andrew Brooks, the following year ended up being the producer of College Game Day Radio.
Ah.
College Game Day Radio needed a host because Ryan Russillo was leaving as College Game Day Radio host.
Mm-hmm.
So he knew me from the podcast. So then I become the new host of College Game Day Radio in 2014. And that's a traveling show. There at the time, we're going all over the country. It's a 7-hour radio show. And I'm doing it with Brad Edwards and Trevor Maddich. And so I'm doing College Game Day Radio every Saturday. Well, that year, we are at Alabama, Mississippi State. And this is when Dan Mullen and Dak Prescott are number one in the country, taking on third-ranked Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And College Game Day Radio was there. Well, at the time, we had just launched the Sports Center on the Road initiative under Mike McQuaid. And the weekend anchor at the time, who was paired with Sarah Walsh, had a pre-scheduled vacation that he couldn't get out of. So they needed a Sports Center anchor.
Oh, really?
To fill in for him. Well,
Yeah.
I was a Sports Center anchor, a new one, but I was a Sports Center anchor, and I was already there for College Game Day Radio that started.
Mhm.
So I could easily fill in. So I fill in with Sarah on this Friday and Saturday show leading into College Game Day. That's when that show launched.
Yeah.
That Sports Center in the Morning show launched that year. So I get to do this College Game Day Radio. I get this fill-in opportunity. And then the very next season, I was placed on that Sports Center full time. And so then I was going around the country, typically where College Game Day was, and doing these 7 to 9 a.m. Sports Center leading into game day.
I remember.
There were some weeks with SEC Nation. And so I got ingrained into the college football world here. And then in 2019, after doing that show leading into game day the whole time, 2019, the ESPN studio job came open, and it was just kind of a thing where I'd been, connected to college football for so long that was
natural.
That was the next step. Yeah.
Matt Barrie, our guest on Show Pony Live, ESPN star, in case you didn't know from looking behind him at the Sports Center fanciness. He's on set right now getting ready. What time is your show? It's got to be soon, right?
25 minutes.
Oh, God. Then we got to get through this.
Oh, I told you I'd give you a half hour.
I love it. And I cannot wait to put on the TV and be like, hey, I just watched that guy. What's the camaraderie like at ESPN? What is that like? I mean, do you feel like it's competitive? Does it feel like a family? Is it a combination of both? I think there's a lot of people that wonder what it's like in Bristol.
Combination of both. I mean, look, I can tell you that the people that I work with in college football, Galloway and I were such good friends. EJ Manuel came on with us this year. Dan Mullen and I are close.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone I've worked with in the college football space on Saturdays. I mean, you have to be. You're together 16 hours a day. The producers on that are great. And, even our Sports Center show staff. I mean, we were all in it together.
Sure.
And so we all enjoy it. But it's ESPN, right? And there's precious real estate, and people know that, and everyone wants the precious real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And there's plenty of it to go around. I mean, there's enough. You can build a ton of houses on this real estate, but everybody wants it. So, you kind of just appreciate what you have. I'm very fortunate. I love everything that I do here.
Mm-hmm.
I love TGL. I love the golf space. I can't wait for the PGA Championship in a couple of weeks. But it's like anything. It's like, I don't think ESPN would be as good as it is if there wasn't competition.
Yeah, that's
it's
a
like
good point.
It's like anything. It's like we've lost a little bit of competition with the transfer portal and everything in college football. But what used to make the Pete Carroll teams great at USC is he would have competition Tuesdays. And he would have this roster filled with 5-star players beat the hell out of each other on Tuesdays to earn a right to play for one of the best dynasties we've ever seen in college football, because that was precious real estate. And so I think at the end of the day, competition makes everybody better. but also everyone that works together as a show unit. We're really close.
Matt Barrie, our guest here. Well, he's got a TV show, so we got about 8 minutes left to go or something like that with the man. You mentioned auditioning back in the day. What does a TV audition look like for ESPN? Because I think a lot of people think of auditions like American Idol or an actress going to get a role or Broadway. What does it look like in sports media?
So you're assigned the actual audition portion, because there's meetings all day. You're meeting with executives. You're going around the network, and the actual audition portion of the show, you get a producer when you get here. My producer was Rob Lemley, who actually just retired from ESPN. He's the best. My producer that day was Rob Lemley, and you get in there, and they basically give you the rundown of what your audition's going to be. You're going to do this highlight. You're going to do this highlight. You're going to then have an analyst. My analyst on set that day was Matt Millen.
Nice.
And so you basically do a mock 10-minute show, right?
Okay.
In that case, it was all Longhorn stuff because it was for Longhorn now.
Yeah.
And so it was, you do the whole audition. It's a 10-minute audition, and you're doing the show. And they then clip that off. There's people watching in the control room, like executives, and they send the audition around to certain people, and that's kind of how it goes. It's the most nerve-wracking thing.
I bet.
Because at the time when I did this audition, it was in a room we call screening. It's where everyone sits and edits all the highlights. It's basically it's the energy hub of ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Time and screening, there was a set. So there's a set in this live screening room. So here I am, this guy trying to audition for a job, and there's people like behind me working.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like nervous, and I'm like, well, hell with it. I don't care about them anymore because I want to get a job. And so that was the most nerve-wracking part. If it was in a contained studio like this, it wouldn't have been as
different.
There were people there. It was, but that's what that audition was like. And it's a whole part of the day. You meet different people, then you go to lunch, and I'll never forget it, man. That was 2011. And I could tell you everyone that I met with the entire day.
Probably scared, sweating. Am I being awkward? Am I saying the right things? I mean, it's incredible when you have to go through all that stuff. I know I only got a few minutes left to go, so let's get into the golf. You do the TGL, which is cool because it's a digital form of golf that is blown up. It's like you're broadcasting a video game, and they've made incredible ways to make it palatable to TV. Plus, you did the Masters again, which is incredible. Let's start with the Masters so I don't run out of time there. Does it feel like a different event when you're there? Like, is the whole broadcast event got a different vibe to it?
Yeah, I mean, this is my 13th year there, and it's new every time to me.
Really?
I just love it. There's just something special about it. I hold it in such high regard. I think it's 1 and 1A, the favorite things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love sports and sports history. It's the only thing in sports. Maybe Wimbledon's probably close to it. It's the only thing in sports that's so much tradition, and those ghosts are walking around that course every year.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to a spot anywhere on the course and remember a shot, and the traditions of it, and the history of the event, and the champions that have been there. It's just, there's something special. It's always been that way. You know, the first time I got a crack at it was in 2005, 2006, when I was doing local TV in Columbia.
Yeah.
Because it's an hour door to door from Columbia to Augusta. Dustin Johnson went to high school in Columbia, so we were doing the local angle of it. And I just fell in love with it. There's just something special. The music, the setup, the course. I love it. It's my favorite week of the year because I wish I could describe the uniqueness of being there. But every time I walk on that course, it's brand new, and I get the same feeling every time.
How about the TGL? What's that like?
TGL is the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my career. Because it was a startup. It was a startup that no one knew if it would succeed or fail. We all just kind of went all in on it. We're like, let's just go and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't get that anymore in TV. Like, we created a league with the best players in the world,
mm-hmm.
and it works, and it succeeds, and they love it. and I've gotten to know them so much better. And it's just cool to see something come to life that you were with from the very get-go. And so you become attached to it because you're like, no,
Yeah.
I was here during the rehearsals. I was here during this,
Yeah.
and this. And so you're protective of it and you're attached to it, and watching it grow the way that it has. That's why I use rewarding. It's fun. Everybody knows
Sure.
I have fun doing it, but how rewarding it's been to watch it grow, and the people that put in far more work than I do has been just incredible.
Matt Barrie, you're the best. Have an incredible Sports Center, sir. I'll be watching.
My apologies for the lights. I thought I had Dad yell.
You look great.
Up there, and
Kidding me? Any lighting does it. Matt Barrie shines in any light. Believe me.
Got this cave lighting up. Pleasure, Pony. Always good
Thank you,
talking.
sir. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. The great Matt Barrie on Show Pony Live. That'll do it today on the show. Thanks for watching. Again, subscribe, showponymedia.com.